living in some of the best times in all of human history, where we can write our own checks. We can be as successful as we want to be. We've always been taught to live in scarcity. There's so many things that are abundant to us, and not only abundant but also accessible and achievable, and everybody wants to get rich quick. So you see this in things like forex and trading. I see people all the time, they make a lot of money fast and then lose it fast because and here's the thing, there are vehicles now that can allow you to make a lot of money very quickly, even with no money. Now that does require, I find, the happier and healthier I am, the more money I make, the more my relationships are better, the more opportunities find me, the more fitter I am. By being healthier, it serves everything else. Networking is not just about making money. It's also about saving money, and it can save you time. That's the one commodity that is finite that we all cannot buy more of. Don't go around the houses trying to figure it out yourself. It takes too long. You haven't got enough time to learn it all yourself. Stop wasting time. You haven't got enough time to learn it all yourself.
You're not defined by where you come from.
Yeah.
And I think that's a big message that I always want to tell people.
Like you have to be able to be uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Like be comfortable with being uncomfortable.
When you grow up in ends, you don't realise it when you're confident, but you have an audacity to do things that ordinarily most people wouldn't be willing to do.
Welcome back to another episode. We have a special guest in the building. I'm your host, Atto. We have Dr. Byron Cole, who is a renowned serial award-winning entrepreneur, Sunday Times best-selling author, keynote speaker, investor, and speaker trainer, bringing a decade of industry in the speaking experience. As Bianca's dedicated speaking manager, he adeptly negotiates her speaking engagements, accumulating over 1 million in bookings. Dr. Byron, how are you doing today?
I'm extremely well. Thank you for having me.
You're very, very welcome. I'm looking forward to this conversation.
Yeah.
I think I told you offline that you were on my list for, I think, probably at the start of me doing this, actually. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's a pleasure to, be
let's
meeting
do
you.
it.
It's a
Let's
pleasure
do
to have
it.
this conversation
Yeah.
with you. Obviously, I described you.
Yes.
Got your bio. But who would you say you are? Who's Dr. Byron?
Yeah. Who is Dr. Byron? So I guess formally, I'm an entrepreneur. I now help startups grow to 6 and 7 figures. I would call myself a global business strategist. And I now help people become professional speakers. I've been managing Bianca's speaking career now for the best part of 10, 12 years. And now we've helped a number of people also develop their career. And that's what we've been doing. And I now negotiate the deal. So my part is more like the branding, the marketing, the pre-prep. And arguably that's 90% of the work.
Wow.
Because no one's going to book you based on just, people are not going to, you can't get on the stage before you do the pre-prep. So
Right.
who you are, what you do, the branding, the glossy parts, then they book you, you deliver. If you're good, they rebook you.
Okay.
So that's kind of how it works. So I've been enjoying this journey, now helping people become professional speakers now for the last year and a half, and obviously managing Bianca's speaking career. It's been incredible. So yeah, so that's the short version of a long story.
Okay.
But ultimately, I'm an entrepreneur.
Love that. I love that. And it's interesting that you say that you have to do all that pre-prep work, because people would assume that, speaker is just, they're just known, or they just got LinkedIn or whatever, and they'll just get booked, right?
Yeah.
And that's it. They'll just go out and
Absolutely
speak.
not, no.
You don't realize that there's so much to it. I guess pretty much like the podcast, a lot of people probably look at us talking and think, I just jump on a podcast and that's it. They don't realize there's hours of work.
Yeah, the pre-prep, honestly.
Yeah.
The pre-prep is
crazy.
insane.
It's
But
crazy.
once you know how to do it, right?
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
easy. Copy and paste.
Exactly. Okay. So let's talk about your story. Where are your parents from?
So, mum from Sierra Leone, dad
okay.
Cuban, Jamaica.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
What
So
a
I'm
mix.
Yeah.
Mad. That's a mix. So
Yeah.
were you born in any of those
I was
countries?
born here in the UK.
Okay, in the UK.
Obviously, I've been to both places. I haven't been to Cuba yet.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I haven't
I've not
been.
done
Have
Cuba
you done
either.
Cuba?
Nah, I've never
Have you
Cuba.
done, where in Africa have you done?
I've done Nigeria.
Yeah.
I've done Sierra Leone. I'm actually Sierra Leonean
Yeah.
too. I'm
Okay,
Nigerian
dope.
and
Yeah.
Sierra Leonean. Done Ghana
Yeah.
now as well. And to be fair, I don't really count it. But I've been Gambia, but I was a baby. So I don't really count that.
It
as
doesn't
me.
count.
Exactly.
Pre-16 don't count.
exactly. Cool. So obviously you said you grew up in the UK. Whereabouts?
So I grew up in Northwest London.
Northwest.
Yeah,
Okay. What was
Northwest
that
London.
like? growing up there?
I grew up in one of Europe's largest council estates, right?
Okay.
And it's an interesting story when you look at how far you've come and where you grew up and your humble beginnings and background, right? So I grew up in Northwest London. I went to a local school in Edgware, failed my GCSEs.
Yeah, I read about that.
Yeah,
Yeah, and heard in your book too.
Yeah,
we got
failed
here.
my GCSEs and then moved to Southeast London. My mum moved, said, okay, this environment is crazy. Let's go from one. And I always say went from one extreme to the other extreme in Southeast London. So I grew up there. And then I went to a local college, started to kind of excel a little bit and understand how I learn as an individual. And then went to university. I went to Greenwich University to study business and economics.
Okay.
Which was good fun. So that's kind of my educational journey.
So what happened then in school? Because obviously you still managed to get to university. What happened in like school with the GCSEs?
Not to
that?
make excuses, but I was traveling at one point. My train was at 6:32 in the morning, right?
Okay. So traveling to school.
Traveling to school.
Oh wow. Okay.
Because I didn't when I left at like age 13, I didn't want to leave the school that I went to. So I was like, I'm going to commute. And I think that had a massive impact because it was like waking up every single morning to go and get your train. By the time I get home, I'm done. There's no time for like even my concentration in classes. It was just too challenging. I use that as part of the excuse. And I just don't think I'm a good studier.
Okay.
Like even post school, I'm not a good studier. Or I'm not good at exams.
Yeah.
If I can do coursework, I'm flying. If I got to do examinations, it's a disaster. And I recognize that as I got older and older. So I then started to overcompensate with coursework. I'd always get top marks for coursework and then whatever I could do during the examinations. So they're kind of, I guess, my main reasons, in my opinion, why I struggled at school.
Okay, interesting. If you're anything like me, you want to grow your money in an automated, low-cost and tax-free way. One of the best platforms out there is Trading 212, who are kindly sponsoring this episode. And I'm currently using Trading 212 to build my wealth tax-free by investing my money through a stocks and shares ISA. Why I think Trading 212 is so amazing is that you can start investing with as little as £1, and you have over 13,000 stocks and ETF options to choose from. Trading 212 also pay you a market-leading 5.2% interest per annum on any cash that is uninvested on a daily basis. This will be reduced to 5% interest per annum on the 9th of September. And when you do invest, there's no commission fee, with only a small 0.15% FX fee where applicable. Even better, you can set and forget your investments by taking advantage of Trading 212's auto invest feature, where you choose what you want to invest into automatically every month. Setting up a Trading 212 account only takes a few steps, and if you click the link of the description of this episode, you'll get a free fractional share worth up to £100. It's free money, so you might as well take advantage of it. I'm not a financial advisor, so please always do your own research before investing. When was like your first, I guess, experience getting into business between like school and college?
Yeah. In school, I was always like a bit of a hustler.
Okay.
I would buy sweets from the local shops and sell them in school. And I was always hustling. And then in college, I was buying CDs. These are the Our Price days. These are the HMV days.
Yeah, I remember HMV.
Buying CDs, selling them in school, buying clothes, selling them online on eBay.
Yeah.
So I'd done the eBay thing a long time ago. So that was kind of my first experiences of entrepreneurship. Then I went to university and I got into property very early on.
Okay.
I was kind of obsessed with a show called Homes Under the Hammer. I don't know if you're familiar with it.
Yeah, I know.
And I would just watch the show and I would just see all the auction details. I always laugh about this and say this. It was kind of pre-Sky Plus days. So you write down the auction details and you're like, oh, Allsops and Andrews and Robinsons and all these places. And I would literally go online and I would order their catalogue. It was like an Argos catalogue back then. You get this thick catalogue, comes through the door, right? Comes through the door. Yeah. This is kind of it pre-being online. I think they were transitioning at the time. And I would go through the catalogue and I would look for anything local to me. And then I would just go to the viewing. And I would go to the viewing and I had no business being there. I had no understanding of property. And I would just go and you just see on the show, they just look around and you just look around.
Yeah.
And then I would go to the auction houses. So I'd go to the auction houses and I would be like just sitting there and looking at all these lots. Then I started formulating kind of a pattern by accident, just because I'm just there for 3 hours. And I would write down what each property will be sold for. So you would see the clear pattern between what they're being auctioned for, what the lot number or the asking price was. And then you'll see what the sale price was, right? And then there was like, I don't remember the percentage at the time, but say it was like 23%, 30%, whatever it was. And you'll see, okay, cool. So whatever it's the guide price is, you'll see a clear difference between the two. And I was like, okay, interesting. Eventually I got speaking to various people and I was like, oh, you just bought lot number 16 and Johnson Avenue. What are you going to do with it? And they were like, who's this young black boy asking me about this property? Anyway, someone invited me to their property, to their site. It was 6 units, and they said, Byron, do you know anybody that would buy it? And I was like, no, but I'll find someone. And we structured a deal that worked for me with a bit of a discount. I went out to go and find some people to buy this property, and I remember where I came from. I had no one in my phone book that would be able to buy these properties, right? So I was like, okay, cool. Where am I going to find people to find that's got money? Like, the only at those days, the only people that you see that has wealth or within my network was what you see on TV.
Yeah,
it's only people with money that you would see, right? It's completely different from where we are now, I believe, because the people that have money are not just the athletes. You know,
that's what we used to think back
that's
then.
what
You're
we used to
right.
think.
Yeah,
Athletes, musicians. That's the only people that got money, right? So I was like, where am I going to find these people? So I decided in my young mind that I would find these people in hotels. I would find them in the luxury hotels, the Hilton, the Waldorf, the Lanesborough, and I would go there and I would just sit there and I would just have a conversation with people. I'm that type of person that I would just talk to anyone, and I guess that was the start of the journey of networking for me. Eventually found someone that would buy the property, and I started there.
Okay.
So I started making money. I was still in university. I was enjoying the journey. I bought my first property at the age of 21.
Okay, wow.
In
A year
Mitcham.
after.
Yeah,
That-
in
that's
Mitcham.
crazy, yeah.
In CR4, 138,000 pounds.
We ain't hitting those figures anymore.
First floor, 2-bedroom masonette with its own garden.
That's crazy.
Crazy.
Wow. So obviously, I've listened to the book, and you know, for the benefit, that drive. Where did that drive to? You know, because a lot of people might just be like, you know what, I can't afford this. I'm not gonna even do anything about it. But you did something about it. Where did that drive to? Obviously,
I don't know where the drive came from. Like, I wasn't like, people say, oh, you know, I just had that natural ability to fix problems. That's my natural disposition. People come to me to fix problems, and I enjoy fixing problems. So this is just another piece of a puzzle that I just need to fix. So when he said, do you know anyone? I was like, no, let me fix it. I'm just a natural problem solver. Even in my businesses now, my job is to solve the problem, because no one in my team or whatever has been able to. It comes to me, it's on my desk. It's a problem that needs to be solved. Okay. So I don't really have like a major change or anything that would really change things, but I've just always been that way inclined.
Okay, cool. And then after you bought your first property, you started was that official business after that?
Yes, I was still in university.
Yeah.
I was then given an opportunity to invest into an estate agency. Okay. It was in Purley, and in Southeast London. For those that don't know, Southeast London. And one of my clients actually was like who I was sourcing properties from and sourcing properties for. So it was working both ways and was doing good business together, and we're making money together. And they were like, Byron, why don't you invest in this opportunity that I've got to expand the estate agency? Because they were like a deal sourcer, kind of a low level kind of estate agent. They want their own premises, blah, blah, blah. I was like, cool. Of course. There's all my money. Gave them everything, and that business failed, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that business failed. It failed for a number of reasons, but I wasn't skilled enough to qualify my purchase. I didn't know what questions to ask, so I just wasn't told. And I don't believe they were being deceitful, but they needed me to expand. I had the money available, and I didn't ask the right questions. So I lost my money. Partly because I didn't understand how to qualify my purchase. The other part was because of the credit crunch, 2008. It was a bloodbath. If you look at history, in terms of since I've been in that market now, 20 years, right? Plus. And it's like when the credit crunch happened, every property deal that you had available to you was pulled. So what I mean by pulled, it was like the mortgage offers were removed, withdrawn by the lenders. It was insane.
Wow.
Like now when we had, 2000, when was it? 2 years ago, 2020, when we had the pandemic, they pumped money into the economy.
Mm-hmm.
So it cannot be compared. It was a bloodbath.
Wow.
So that was the final kind of nail in the coffin for that business, and I lost all my money. I lost everything, and yeah, so that was how that happened. That's how that went down.
Wow. How did you bounce back from that?
Do you know what? It's quite interesting. The long story is, or the short version of the long story is, I read a government manifesto.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
It's crazy. I don't think I've read too many since, but
Yeah.
I read a government manifesto, and in there was this initiative called energy performance certificates, EPCs, being a part of legislation.
Okay.
And I was like, what's this? And I was like, okay, cool. It's part of, we're seeing this in the estate agency, and they've got this thing coming called the Green Deal, and it's being and so I was like, okay, this is what I want to get into, because one of the problems we had whilst being in the estate agency was having all these services being delivered was just too time consuming, right? You had to get the plumber, you had to get the electrician, you had to get the EPC, you had to get the photographer, all these various bits and pieces you need to sell or rent the property. And these were part of the times when for people that know property, that we had this thing called a HIP pack, HIP pack, right? Anyway, long story short was I said, okay, this is going to be an emerging market. I need to get involved in it. So I got involved in that industry, and it was really, really cool. Learned so much, made a lot of money. I grew that business. I sold that business, and that's the short version of a long story.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. So that's how you effectively bounced back.
Yeah.
And then after selling that business, did you go on to start another business?
Yeah.
after
So
that?
I got that bit money. I went and did this, did some all kinds of different things.
Crazy.
And then I had a 2-year non-compete for that property services business.
Okay.
And then I went back in. Then I sold it again to another
Wow.
company in South.
So you sold 2 property service businesses.
It's the same copy and paste.
Okay.
Yeah, copy and paste
Wow.
business, because I was like, this works. I know it. I went back in. Then I sold that
Wow.
business again. And I did various different things. I did construction recruitment.
Wow.
And so that grew to kind of like nearly 7 million. I exited that, which was cool. So yeah, it's been a fun journey, a very varied journey. Learned so much, and like this is probably a 3-hour, 4-hour, 5-hour conversation to fill in the blanks.
Yeah.
But that's the short version.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's so interesting. Obviously, when people come to the podcast, they wanna. I know we can't go through in complete detail.
Yeah.
But people want to know, right? Because obviously you're very financially successful. You're a multi-millionaire. So I guess from my point of view, and probably from the listeners' watchers' point of view, they want to understand what are the steps that you kind of took to get to that first million. How did that actually happen?
There's too many things to talk about here. All right, so what are the first steps to a successful business? Is it scalable, first of all? Is it scalable without you? Is very important. That I have found for the businesses that I've done late 6 figures, 7 figures and above. Is it scalable without you? So sometimes we are our own worst enemy. So for example, can the podcast scale without you? Right? How important are you? And then, because then it just becomes a case of you just need more customers. Right? So the businesses that have done well for me have been all scalable businesses, and all scalable with ads predominantly. So so for the first business, when you're asking about like how did I do it, I was an early adopter of ads, Facebook ads, Instagram, YouTube ads, and all these things, right? And it was actually Google ads at the time, being specific. And I always say, when you're looking at the pain point of a business, how urgent do you need this service?
Yeah.
If the urgency is high, fantastic. It's so scalable and quickly scalable, Because when somebody comes and lands on it, when you're doing ads, that is, when somebody comes and looking for it, it's urgent, they need it, like a plumber or a locksmith. The need is there, it's now. So that helped me scale my first business. So if you can find a scalable business that can be scaled without you, tick box number one.
Yeah.
Next thing you need to think about when you're talking about being a successful entrepreneur is the unwavering commitment, drive, determination that you require in order to be successful. Because it's not going to be easy. You cannot just flip the switch and it's all going to start coming in. Sometimes you land on a gold mine and it just fantastic, right? So that's, you need to be committed because it's not easy and this world will swallow you up. Next thing I will say, look, you need to get someone. If you can solve your problem with someone, you're winning.
Yeah.
I mean, whether you call that your network, whether you call that your mentor, whatever you call that, if you can solve your problem with someone helping you, it just saves the pain. It takes too long to learn it. It takes too long to try and understand it and do it yourself. When you're trying to learn to do everything yourself, you're already losing, right? Yes, be competent. Yes, we understand one of the biggest problems in all business owners that I speak to is staffing. We get that.
Always.
Always, right? No matter who you speak to or what level, staffing is a problem, right? But you can't do it all yourself, for sure. So I guess there are a couple there for the listeners.
Yeah. And what would you say are the systems that you put in place that enabled you to, because you say build, like essentially scale without you, what are the systems that you put in place?
Do you know what? Nowadays it's becoming it's much more easier to build systems and processes, right?
Yeah.
And back then, I was a spreadsheet king.
All right, okay.
Everything on a spreadsheet.
Yeah.
Spreadsheet. Everything goes on a spreadsheet. Now, it's more advanced. We have CRMs, which has automation. We've got these lovely systems that everyone can share in between and it chases you. But back then, we just kept it simple. We bootstrapped. We didn't have budgets to do wild things. Spreadsheet does the job.
Yeah.
And that was my system back then.
Okay.
Yeah, but now you've got the Google Drive, you've got all these things, you've got the funnels and all these automation. But back then it was just a spreadsheet. And I love a spreadsheet myself personally.
You still use them?
I still use them. It's a little bit different now because we can have a bit more like kind of like systems and processes and documenting everything, and everything is there so that if one person exits, someone else can learn it just like that, because everything's in a drive or in a folder. Everything's explained, everything is pre-recorded, everything's videoed.
Okay.
So like it's a bit different now, but back then it's a spreadsheet.
Yeah. So I wanted to talk about this, right? Risk, right? Because a lot of people, I feel like you took a risk the first time, you took a risk the second time, the third time, and you kept on taking those risks. What other risks would you say you did that enabled you, obviously, to be successful in business and build wealth?
I don't think I'm a high risk taker anymore.
Okay. Oh, you think you've changed now? You're not.
I don't think I was that high risk before.
Okay.
I was calculated risk.
Okay.
And also, when you look at it, it's like, what's the worst that can happen?
Yeah, true.
Like, what is the worst thing that can happen?
To zero.
Yeah,
a lot of people. That's like
you can get a job.
True.
If you're living at home with mum.
Yeah.
And you got no bills, right? First of all, you got your car. Okay, cool. Liability. You're finding the money every month to pay for these things, right? So what's the worst that can happen? Is go and get a job. That's the worst thing that can happen.
True.
So I'm a calculated risk type of person. And one of the things I always say, your business will die without sales, right? Any business, if it doesn't have revenue, it dies instantly. So my take, and talk about this in Self-Made Book, my take versus Bianca's take is, if I can hire someone, so let's say, for example, my product costs £1,000 and they can sell one product a week, right? If I can hire someone to sell that product and it costs me £2,000 for labor, so 24 grand for the year, I would risk hiring someone and not having any money back then, because I know that I'm willing to take the risk. That's my risk. Is, can this person make enough phone calls to sell one product or two
Yeah.
to break even.
Mm.
And if you, firmly believe, if you provide, first of all, if you've provided proof of concept, i.e., you've done it yourself,
Yeah.
then if you provide a system to them, here's your call script, here's the data, go and do this, go here, go and get these calls. Like, what's the worst that can happen? Cool, they make no sales. That's the worst that can happen.
True.
So what do you owe them after you pay PAYE? You owe them £1,600. So at the end of the month, that's my liability, £1,600. So that's my risk.
Okay.
Listen, AAA credit. Yeah, I'll put it on a credit card if I had needed to. But I always had that belief that they will come through, and that's how I kind of started scaling the businesses. And I always do, even now, hire salespeople all the time, because if they can sell, they bring more resource. You can then build out your businesses accordingly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. That's a very interesting perspective. And what would you say are like the biggest hurdles you had to face, and what did you learn from those?
Biggest hurdles in my journey is giving people too much credit because everybody has an idea.
Okay.
Everybody has an idea. Everybody wants to sell you an idea. And in the position that I'm in at the moment, and with my brand and my network, everybody wants to pitch you an idea. And everybody wants your money.
Of course.
So,
of course,
you have to start, and sometimes you're like, okay, what else am I going to do with this capital? So let me invest in that person. And time again, that person just doesn't deliver, fails to deliver. So me and one of my business partners at the moment, we're on this year, we've made it like a pledge to ourselves not to invest in anyone.
Wow.
Right? Because sometimes they only need 10 grand or 5 grand or whatever. And it's like almost respectfully to the money that you're not going to miss. Right? So it's like, cool. They've come with the energy. We give them the credit, and we're like, "Don't you think you should do this way?" And they're like, "No, we can." And we're like, "Okay, cool, go on then. You could go and do it." Every time, same thing happens.
Wow.
They just fail, and you're just like, "Why did we let you do this?" And we know in our heart that is not the right way to do it. But you come with the energy, you come with a new twist, a new spin, and then it's like, yeah. So we made a pledge this year. We're not investing in nobody.
Oh my gosh.
And it's going. I spoke to him on the way here. We speak almost every day.
Yeah.
And we're like, yeah, it's going good. It's like,
Wow.
yeah, no stress.
Not far off. You got 4 more months to go.
4 more months. I have kind of done one kind of partnership deal.
Yeah.
But it's a no money down deal, which works for me. But then I still have to mentally occupy. The contract's not done, but it's done virtually. So yeah, we're getting there.
So that was one of the hurdles in terms of, it sounds like the wanting to help people, and then
Look, I'm a businessman at the end of the day. I still want to make money.
Of course you want to make money,
But also I know that I can help you make more money.
Yeah.
Because one of the things that I hate seeing is people that got so much ability, so much potential, and they can't fulfill it because of the sake of a small investment that can really move things forward.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay. That gets me onto another topic, right? In in your book, Rich Forever, right? So what I really like about it, right? I appreciate that. Actually, I can show it to people so they see it. That's it. That's a great book. So I like that it's very diverse in terms of, it talks about all, aspects of personal finance, investing in stocks, investing in property, talks about crypto, which I think a lot of personal finance books doesn't like to talk about that. It talks about generational wealth as well, right? So on your journey of obviously, doing your businesses, at what point did you start thinking, okay, I'm going to start investing in stocks? And obviously you started with property, but like stocks, alternative investments and stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely. So 2012, sold my business. I was very fortunate enough to bank with Coots.
Okay.
And as a result of that, I essentially had like a private banker, and essentially their job is to invest your money for you, right?
Okay, yeah.
In order for you to bank with them. That was the conditions then. And so then I was exposed to so many different kind of like investment portfolios and asset classes and all these different various things. Then they introduced me to another firm and blah, blah, blah. So that's kind of where it was birthed.
Okay.
and I started understanding about stocks and shares and investments and all these other different things. So that's where it all started.
Okay, cool. Wow. And Coots, for the people that don't know Coots, I know Coots because I had somebody a few weeks ago. I don't know if the episode will be out by then.
Yeah.
From Coots. So what is Coots actually, for the people that don't know what that is?
It's actually a misconception. But people
Okay.
say it's from my understanding, they say it's the Queen's Bank. But it is
say
actually
something
not.
like that. Real, yeah.
It is actually not.
Okay.
So anyway, it's a private wealth bank. They have a branch on the Strand, 440 Strand.
Okay.
And I was smiling because I just can always picture walking in there and going up the escalator. It's like a shopping mall almost for me. I feel that's how it feels like to me.
Yeah.
And they you have to there's a minimum criteria for you to bank with them. And there's various facilities as a result of banking with them, and it's not easy to get an account there, and it's not just a money criteria. But now, I think like everything, even like when I first started banking there, I don't think it was very diverse. I would go to an event and I won't say the types of things I was experiencing, but now it's much more diverse. People within my network, musicians, athletes, and so on, they all bank there now. Even like I say this as well with my members club that I also am a part of. And when I first started my membership in 2012, I was like one of a handful of black people.
Wow. Okay.
Now it's diverse.
Yeah.
You know, so it's such a different, it's just so different.
Different experience.
It's just different, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So obviously, stay on the topic of, investing in stocks.
Yeah, yes.
How did that help you to like build your wealth now that you had somebody actually doing it, which is very fortunate, by the way. Yeah.
So you have a choice when banking with them anyway. It's about wealth preservation as opposed to growth.
Right.
So that's their job. Or I don't know if things have changed now.
Yeah.
But when I started, they're about preserving your wealth.
Okay.
They're not about crazy growth or anything like that. It's about wealth preservation. So the other providers are the ones that might give you a little bit of growth, but typically speaking, the increases were not like, oh my God, they weren't blowing your mind anyway. The things that were blowing your mind were just really property based. For me, that were things that were really accelerating was property and just investing in myself. So I was learning new skills, so I was then able to do more.
Okay.
So they were things that were the real accelerators.
Okay.
And the bank was just kind of wealth preservation. You'll get your 5%.
Interesting.
Yeah. It's contrary to maybe popular belief.
Yeah, you think that they're there more to manage, make sure you don't lose money,
essentially,
and grow slowly.
Maybe it's changed now, but that's what it was.
Oh. Yeah. Okay, that's that.
Maybe new money is different, but even if you win the lottery, they highly likely they won't take you as a customer.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Why is that?
I think they're quite particular. You can Google some footballers not getting an account there.
Oh, that's
stuff like that,
okay. That's okay.
The famous MPs getting their accounts removed.
Oh yeah, I think I heard. Yeah. I think we all know about that. Now that you say that does. That does. I do.
They can choose who they want to work with. Essentially.
Yeah, that's true. Okay,
Yeah.
That's interesting. So obviously they're managing your wealth on that side, and then you're going back out there to grow it more than obviously what's happening.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like that. So obviously, in your time, thinking about building wealth and doing these things, what would you say are the 3 biggest things people get wrong about not just only increasing your income, but building your wealth? Because that's what a lot of us want to do these days.
Yeah.
Right? We just always want to go up and up and up and up.
Yeah. 3 things they get wrong about building wealth: lack of education.
Okay.
Yeah, people don't learn; they just throw themselves in, and they take unqualified opinions, hearsay, let's call it. So, you should invest in crypto because crypto is going to make you rich. Yeah, let's do it. And people run to go and do something because everybody else is doing it, right? Lack of education, or their education was YouTube. Okay, cool. I understand that things change, things evolved, and so on and so forth. Now, so the lack of education makes it challenging for people to invest, and everybody wants to get rich quick. So you see this in things like Forex and trading. Everybody wants to it's the dream.
Yeah.
Stay at home with your floor to ceiling Windows, you know,
100%.
and you work from your laptop for 10 minutes a day, you click a few buttons and you
Yeah.
become rich. And that is the dream. And the reality says otherwise.
Yeah.
And I say, show me the people that have done this. And I've tried Forex. I've done education.
Which you mentioned in the book, yeah.
I've got people to teach me. I've paid top money for people to teach me. And even when at times when it was a lot of money to me at the time, I was paying like £2,000, a couple of grand. I paid for this guy for a 1-day training. And I remember I took Bianca with me and we went and did this training at this guy's house. And I was like, this thing is just, it's too much information to learn in one sitting. It's impossible. Like, how am I going to do this? But so lack of education, first of all, taking information from the wrong people, right, is also, will also harm you. Slow and steady race. I know we all want it fast. Invest in yourself for sure, in that education.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I want to stick on the slow and fast because I get a lot of comments on my YouTube channel. Oh, Hato, we want to be rich now. I don't want to be rich in 20 years. 30 years.
Slow and steady wins the race.
But people don't want it. People don't want to do that. They want to be rich now.
Yeah, I know.
You know?
And here's the thing, bro. There are vehicles now
Yeah.
that can allow you to make a lot of money very quickly, even with no money. Okay. Now, that does require education because if you don't know what you don't know.
Exactly.
Right. So you can make the money quickly now because there are vehicles, but they're using the wrong vehicle to make the money. That's the problem. So they think they're going to just go into property. If I had £1 for every time someone wants to say they want to get into property, I'll be a multi-billionaire, right? And it's like, okay, why do you want to get into property? Tell me an unemotional reason why you want to get into property. Because I can make money. Show me the people that you know that are making money and how are they doing it. And then people just aren't able to articulate it. And it's like, you're living in a dream world. Like, first of all, you have a low capital. So how are you going to enter the market? Yes, there are some vehicles that in theory will allow you to enter the market. Some people may call you a glorified estate agent. Some people may not. Yeah. It's up to you, depending on what side of the fence that you're on. I have some friends that say you're just an estate agent because you don't own any asset. So when you're talking about building wealth, if you don't own anything, how are you able to build any wealth, right? It can be taken away from you like that. Yeah. So it's just an interesting world. But you can make money fast. So I won't say you can't because I've had mentees that I've been able to help scale their businesses very quickly. Okay. But I've had so much experience, Bianca's had so much experience, and we've been able to navigate them and show them just do this. Right? I'm speaking to an influencer right now who has over 1 million followers. And I'm like, okay, cool. What are you generating at the moment? I won't say. And I'm like, okay, cool. Do you have a course? No. Do you have a book? No. Do you have an ebook? No. Do you have any products? No. Have you had it? So I won't say too much. It might be obviously it is, but I'm like, okay, this is what we need to do in this order, and this is how we're going to make the money, right? If you do this, you're clearly exceptional at building a brand. You're clearly exceptional at social media. That is your offering, right? So that's your offer. Cool. How do we make the money now? Okay, cool. We only need a small handful of people. You can charge for that. You know, if I had 1 million followers and I can teach you how to get the views on your podcast, would you pay me £500 to be in the room for a day? I can teach you everything. Yeah. Right? £500. Okay. Yeah. So now I just need 20 people in the room that I can convince to pay me £500. Yeah. That's to start with. That's to get you in the room. So now I've qualified you because you're serious. You're willing to pay £500. Okay. So now I've got 10 grand. Now the package is then this. Okay, great. So now I've given you everything. How much can I teach you of 20 years, 10 years worth of teaching in one day? It's not possible for me to teach you everything. I'm going to give you enough so you can certainly accelerate and improve and implement things. Yeah. But the extra value is this. Okay, I would love to work with you for another 6 months. Okay. I'll work with you for another 6 months. You're gonna speak to me every day or every week or every whatever. However that offer and package looks like, and for that I want another £5,000. Yeah, and I only want 5 people to do that.
25 grand
plus the 10.
Yeah,
right? It's 35 grand. It's a 1-day course, right? And then you can do that. So you can build well. You can make money if you know how to do it.
Yeah.
If you know how to navigate things. And I'm in the personal development space, so that's my space. That's what I help. I help entrepreneurs understand how to make multi-6 figures, multi-7 figures for their businesses. So that's what I understand how to do. So that's my market. That's my go-to.
Yeah. So I guess, because you said that you can definitely, from a business point of view, if you own a business, you can scale income quickly. The difference is that they have you.
Yes.
Right?
And I've gone through the pain.
Yeah, exactly. You've
I've
gone through the pain.
mistakes.
They've got your years.
They've got my
and
years of
experience.
wisdom, my
Exactly.
grey hairs, my pain, my wasted money. They've got all of that. Don't do that. Don't do this. Don't do this. X marks the spot. Do that. Go.
Another thing, right, I wanted to actually touch on, right, when we were talking about making money quick, right? And this is a conversation I had with this private banker that works at Coots, and he raised a very good point. The point he made was a lot of people want to get rich very quickly. Like they have to target 100,000, 1 million. But okay, once you get there, let's say 100K. I want to make
Does he have a
100K.
book, by the way?
Does he have a book?
Yeah.
Yes.
I
he
know
has
who
a
it
book.
is then.
Yeah, you do know who it is. Yeah.
I bought some books. I bought like 5 copies of his book to give
Yeah. Franklin, I'll say it. Yeah, I don't mind. Yeah, Franklin. Yeah. He's got a book. So let's say it's 100,000, right? Your goal is to make 100,000, right? Cool. You make it. How you just get there? What about the other side? Nobody thinks about the other side.
when you make it.
Exactly. They always say, okay, I want to be a millionaire. Okay, I'm a millionaire. How do I sustain it? How do I sustain being that, right? So on that note, how were you able to kind of do that, sustain the lifestyle, whatever the lifestyle was?
Yeah. So, great question. How do you sustain the lifestyle? I know people are going to think I'm crazy that know me. I don't have high overheads to live. And I know it sounds crazy because I have like luxury cars.
Yeah.
I have a beautiful home with a swimming pool and blah, blah, blah. But like, because I've cashed out on most stuff, I don't have high overheads. So like...
As in you bought them cash?
So not everything, but I don't have high overheads.
Okay.
Believe it or not. So it's like, I don't need that much money to survive in a month. Your mortgage is more than mine. like, you know what I mean? So it's like...
That sounds ridiculous.
Yeah, so it's like, people are like, how do you maintain... Like, I actually don't need that much... Because I made money, I deployed it into my various areas. And like my cars, I started the chauffeur business, which is like a hobby now. I don't really like to do it. So I really don't want to do the bookings. Like, it's just a hobby now. And people come to me and I charge them a price. And if they take it, they take it. Yes, you have to have the desire to make the money. You have to have the ability to keep making the money and the motivation and the skill set and everything else. But I think until you get to, you have to still be humble, like to a degree. You still have to be like modest unless your bank account is spilling over. And even the most, I see people all the time, they make a lot of money fast and then lose it fast because they just overspend, right? And for me, like, I don't have any, like, it sounds kind of, as I'm saying it, I know people are like, you're talking. I don't spend like that much on anything. Like, I don't go shopping. You're not going to catch me in Louis Vuitton.
Really? Okay.
I'll buy my 1 or 2 pieces.
Yeah.
And
So
that's
you're 1
it.
or 2, that's it.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't even like Louis like that, you know. So it's like I'll buy 1 or 2 pieces in certain places, and that's it. And I'm a creature of habit. So, like, I'll buy a shirt. It's a tailor-made shirt, but like this shirt is tailor-made. I got this particular one was in Thailand. So my tailor here in the UK, £150 for a shirt, £250 for a shirt, and in Thailand it's £25. So it's like,
yeah, okay, I love it.
You know?
This is the thing. This is what they say, right? They say that what they say about what wealth is quiet, right? So I guess is that statement kind of true then? In a way? I mean,
no,
I
because
can't
I came here today in a Bentley, so it's like, yeah.
Yeah, you see, this is the thing.
Yeah.
I think it's like there's never an answer. It's really down to you and your personal situation.
Yeah.
I think you can never really say a broad brush statement of, okay, well, because you're now wealthy, you should not buy what you need if it's within your means, right?
Absolutely.
Do what you kind of got to do.
Yeah.
I think we try and just pigeonhole. Okay, poor people, oh, they look rich, and wealthy people, they look poor, and it's like that's kind of what we try and do a little bit. And
I'll say sometimes as well, and I don't begrudge anyone from shopping in the Louis and the Gucci and whatever, right? If that's your thing, that's your thing, because you know what, you don't know anyone's pain. Exactly. You don't know what I went through or what he or she went through in order to make this money.
Exactly.
They are entitled to spend it however they want. If that takes the pain away for them, the cars, the jewelry, whatever, I don't begrudge any. It's just not my preference.
Yeah. Let's talk about importance of taking care of your health, because I think we kind of neglect that when we're talking about business, building wealth, and making money, right? Is that something that you take?
100%. Yeah, so
Can you
important.
Talk a little bit more about that.
Yeah, sure. So people say health is wealth, and sometimes you don't really understand it until you're challenged and you're stressed. And I've had some very stressful times in my business, kind of COVID times, when my business was failing 10 years ago. And I remember my friend described it. He said, it feels like your world is spinning. If you can't imagine that you've not had the stress yet, you can't actually concentrate. It feels like it's moving, right? Wow. And I've had that twice in my life, right? And then, like, when you come over it, you're like, okay, I'm never doing that again. You learn from your mistakes, right? And it's interesting. All my challenges in businesses has always been when it's someone else doing something. So that's quite interesting to know. So health is wealth, absolutely. I find the happier and healthier I am, the more money I make, the more my relationships are better, the more opportunities find me, the more fitter I am. So it's by being healthier, it serves everything else. Yeah. And even down to like just things like private healthcare. I have a housekeeper that looks after me, because the reason why going back to this, the reason why I have a housekeeper is this. I'm a workaholic. Sign me up.
So you're working at almost.
I wake up, I go to the bathroom, I brush my teeth, I shower. I go to the office until my body physically cannot work anymore. So I'm hungry. And it's a bad habit, and I don't encourage anybody to do it. So if I didn't have my housekeeper, I wouldn't eat sometimes.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So
That's
she keeps me and B like healthy. So V's into this, got this new drink she's making now. This not ginger, it's like a vinegar something. I don't know what it is. And you fresh mint tea and fruit platter and morning fruits and all this stuff, and lunches and fresh food, organic. So our diet is incredible, and that allows me to work harder, because now I'm fueled, I go harder. So I find that health is definitely, like, looking after myself so important. And like I said, the private healthcare, it allows me to just do everything I want to do. And people think, oh, you're going to Harley Street for your treatment. Listen, I'm claiming 80% of that back, right? So I'm going Harley Street. I'm going to Knightsbridge for my eye test. And as well, it's a bit of a leisurely activity. And when I go to my optician, I'm chatting for 30. We're having a chat for 30 minutes. She tells me to come around. We're looking at the screen. I feel like she's really looking at. Versus, not saying anything about any particular brands, but like sometimes you go in there, you're like, are you qualified to do this? Like, you look so young. I'm not saying there's an age against it, but like, are you actually looking? Are you doing it? Like, sometimes it scares me sometimes. Yeah. So health is so important to me as an entrepreneur, to ensure I perform at my peak. And this is what it's about for me. Peak performance. How do I perform at my peak? What do I need to be at my peak? Happy life, happy wife, your food, whatever it is. And the more that fuel, the more money I can make, the more I can do the things I want to do, the more I can travel the world, some more lives I can impact, etc., etc.
Wow.
Yeah.
So why do you work so hard?
I sign me up to the.
Is that just your personality? I'm just like hard.
I'm just obsessed. I don't know. I don't know how
you don't have to
switch
stop.
on. Yeah.
Wow.
I had one experience where I switched off, and it was the most tranquil and weird experience of my life.
You didn't like it?
It was nice. It formed my favorite holiday. One of my
Okay.
favorite holidays, which was in the Maldives.
Yeah.
And I just left my phone, and I was just laying there, and I just remember just looking into these
Yeah.
blue turquoise sea,
Mm.
and Bianca was like, "Are you okay?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm good." But other than that, I didn't switch off. However, one of my things I'm doing for next year, I just have one phone at the moment, which has my 2 numbers on it, my Dubai number and my UK number.
Mm.
But next year, I'm going to separate work and business.
Okay.
So that is my commitment to myself. I'm
Mm.
going to have a personal number and a business number. That's what I'm doing.
Okay.
for
That
next year.
sounds like good
Yeah.
news. That sounds
So
like...
I need those 6 months to kind of mentally adjust to
Yeah.
what I'm saying
Yeah.
and how that works. But
Uh-huh.
I wake up in the morning, I'm on my WhatsApp, and sometimes things affect your mood and
Yeah.
and someone naturally, because you
Mm.
got to do this and you see that, and you're so easily accessible. But
Mhm.
I'm just obsessed with it. I
Yeah.
can't help myself.
Yeah. Do you think like the how do I say this? You know, the level of success that you've achieved, do you think that the amount of work that you put in, right? If you didn't put that, you wouldn't achieve that. I guess is what I'm
No,
trying to...
because nothing
find out.
changes when I work less.
Okay.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it doesn't change.
Oh, so why
Yeah.
you work harder?
I'm an ideas man.
Okay, so you got a lot of ideas. So you're just about, okay, I've got an idea. I've
Cool,
got to
let's
execute
start
it.
this now. Let's do this.
Okay.
So
Okay.
at the moment, I'm on a detox from that. Because
Right.
my office, I put them under a lot of pressure.
Okay.
Because I'm like, cool, we're gonna do this event with 500 people. Cool, we're gonna do this event with 1,000 people. Cool, we're gonna have this product. We're gonna do, and I just add dates, and I'm like, yeah, we can do it. We got the resource. We can
Okay.
do it. Why can't we do it?
Wow.
And then they're just like stressed and they're under pressure.
Interesting.
I mean, my team love me. We've been, some of them have been with 9 years.
Yeah.
I would like to hope so anyway. But essentially,
Okay, good.
I'm an ideas man, so I'm
Yeah.
trying to slow down for the team's sake. And now
Mm.
I've got the baby. It's like I'm just really trying to
Hmm.
not do too much.
Yeah.
But it's like we're living in some of the best times in all of human history,
Mm.
where we can write our own checkbook. We can write our own checks. We can be as successful as we want to be. And I've been putting that shift in so that I can take as much time off as I want. So at the moment I'm on 4 days, but my days are long, so I probably do 6 still, right? But I now can spend time with my family. I've just had a son, so now I'm like, cool, I'm taking Fridays off, so you have the flexibility to do what you want, essentially, and that's what I've been working for so hard all these years.
Mm.
The flexibility to live life on my terms.
Mm.
Who wants to go to a job that they hate,
Mm.
to a boss they hate, to have to ask for holiday, to that be granted, to be paid an amount that does not represent your true value, or that does not allow you to live the life that you want to live?
Yeah.
Something has to change.
Yeah.
And that starts with you. You have to change.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay, I love that. You know what I really appreciate is that the fact that you work hard is quite inspiring, and you've been working hard for a long period of time, and you're still working hard. You're still hungry, even though that you've had so much success. You're still hungry. Whereas I think a lot of people, they kind of, when I think about it, again, I'm thinking about that target. I just want to be a millionaire. They think, okay, I get there and I'm stopping, right? Whereas actually, most of the people that I've spoken to on the podcast, they don't stop when they get there. They just go because they're so driven. They're just that driven. Do you know what I mean?
It's
just one goal of many.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
And
It's
I
crazy.
remember on that note talking about successful. I have within my network a couple of billionaires, and one day I was in his office and I just said to him, I almost think we say things kind of subconsciously, and I was like, yeah, I want to retire. And sometimes when you speak to someone on a certain level and they articulate purpose, they articulate, why do you want to retire? If you're not doing what you don't want to do, why are you doing it? You should be doing the things that you love. And when he sat down, when I broke that down to me, he just spoke about it, and I was like, I'm never saying that ever again. I don't want to retire. I think I just was saying it kind of subconsciously. Yeah, I'm going to retire. I don't want to retire. I want to do the things that I love to do and enjoy doing, with the people that I enjoy doing them with.
Yeah. Important. So let's talk about the importance of setting goals, financial goals. That was another part of the book that I really liked, right? So obviously I think we talk a lot about doing stuff, but we don't actually think about it, right? So how can somebody actually set very smart, specific goals, and why is that important for them to do that?
Yeah, I mean, goal setting. I love goal setting. And when I teach goal setting, and I always say you have crystal clear clarity. People say they want to be a millionaire, and I'm like, cool, well, let's reverse engineer that. Where's the money coming from? But also, when you're talking about financial goals, sometimes you just have to keep asking yourself why. Why do you want to be a millionaire? Why? Do you need to be a millionaire to live the lifestyle that you live, want, desire? Yes, no. So having clarity and purpose is so important. And then the financial goal, of course, we want to all set a number. I want a big house. What does that even mean? That's not a goal. That's something crazy people have. I want to move house. That's not a goal. How clear is that? I always say it must be so clear that your 5-year-old niece, nephew, child should be able to say, Mommy, Daddy, you hit that goal. So financial goals are very important. Sharing those goals with people to hold you accountable, essential.
Okay, you think so?
100%.
Wow.
Because it pushes you subconsciously, because you have to have that sit down and be like, how are you getting on with that goal? And it just pushes you forward. And also, if they're really checking for you, you're like, okay, cool. How are you getting on with that? Yeah, okay, yeah, no, this is working, this is not working. So just subconsciously pushing you forward, but also holding you accountable. So I have many accountability partners.
Okay, I like that.
Financial, business, life, everything, accountability. They hold you accountable and they check in on you. How's this going? How's this? You said you was going to do this. How's that going? It's not started. Why? Right? Why not? So having accountability partners. Some people say, I don't have anyone in my network that I can share that dream with. In this world of billions of people, you couldn't find 3 people, to speak to financially. And that's why we do some of the things that we do, bringing people together with our networking events and incredible communities, right? So if people are there, let's connect. Let's move ourselves forward together. And they'll hold you accountable. So absolutely go have an accountability partner.
Interesting, because a lot of people you know what it's like, man, when we talk about money, man, people feel like, do I share that? People might either try and bring me down, or they're like, what are you talking about? What do you mean you want to make X and X, right?
Absolutely.
It's interesting. So I guess, how do you overcome those
you
fears,
just need
right?
Friends.
Replace all of them.
I didn't say replace.
No, of course never replace.
I'm saying you can add 2.
Okay, add 2. Okay,
right?
cool.
So these are your friends. We have different friends for different things, right?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
You have your friends that you go to Nando's with.
Yeah.
You have your friends you go to Hakkasan with. You got your friends you go and travel the world with. They're different friends. And it's just because we all like different things and we have different brackets, right? And some people are okay doing what they want to do at that certain level. And that's fine. That's not what your aspirations are. Listen, they got no kids, you got 3 kids. Like, it's different. They don't understand the pain. So you got to find someone on the level that you're on, right? And find the people that want to eat at that same level, right?
Yeah.
Because otherwise they're not gonna inspire you, motivate you, push you forward. It's not gonna work.
Okay, so I want to talk about multiple streams of income, because there's another section of the book, and I'm not going to talk about all sections because there's a lot in there.
Whatever.
No, there's a lot. No, there's a lot. But this is something that I think a lot of people definitely, want to think about, right? I guess personally for you, what was your multiple income strategy, and how did you kind of build that up yourself?
If I'm being honest, it was probably by accident.
Okay, interesting.
I didn't set out, I'm going to set multiple streams of income. I just set out and I was doing property, and I set out, then I wrote the books, and then I invested in this, and I invested in that. Then I had this skill set, then I had that skill set, and blah, 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 blah. And people come to me for various problems and solutions. And then I was connecting people. I make money from networking, and it just accumulated from there. And then I look at it now like, cool, there's just multiple streams of income coming in every single month from various different things. Some pipelines are good, some pipelines take longer, some pipelines are larger in income. But absolutely, I believe you need those multiple streams of income in order to survive and thrive.
Yeah.
Because the price went up for everything, right?
100%.
Listen, I
Went
was
mad.
laughing the other day. I was filling up one of the cars, and I was like, when I first started driving, okay, yeah, I know, 20 years ago, fuel was like 59 pence per
Yeah,
litre.
I've never seen that.
Per litre.
That's crazy.
So the fuel has is doubled, it's doubled and some, right? Not 3x, but nearly 3x. Has your income 3x'd?
Very rare for most people's income.
Absolutely
to 3x,
not, mostly.
Yeah.
Right? In 20 years, absolutely not most people. So, like, this is the challenge that you have. If you are not making recurring residual income, it's going to be a problem. That's why we also opened the Rich Forever Network, which is a membership community. It has 400 members now paying a monthly subscription, right? And it's like, these are the little things that, look, providing you provide value, people will buy the product or service. So provide the value. And I love having multiple streams of income. It does mean you don't have a payday, but also every day should be payday. And that's the life that I like to live. Every day, cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. You see your Stripe notification, your summaries, it's incredible. You love it. But like, I think the danger that you have waiting for that one payday is anything can happen. You're one blink away from an emergency. People say have a rainy day fund. That it's going to get absorbed at some point. That rainy day fund, by the way, by something, right? But that's a whole other conversation for another day for sure.
Because I was gonna ask, right? How about people? Obviously, you've got a good skill. You're good at that. You focus on that. You make good money, like with what you did, right? You had an exit, what we call an exit event, right? Essentially, right? So you had your business, you exited, and then you were able to go down that. Although it's risky, there is an element of risk. That could also be a route that people could take, you know, initially, right? Before they branch out, rather than, because the only reason why I'm asking you that is because when you do start out with multiple income streams, say you got your job, you're investing, you're trying to get into property, it's not a lot of money straight away.
Absolutely.
It takes a bit of time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? Yeah.
So multiple streams of income, right? I completely agree with you. First of all, not everybody can multitask and do multiple different things at the same time. However, it is definitely possible, right? So what you're saying is you've got your 9 to 5 and you're doing your side hustle essentially, right? Is that kind of what you're alluding to? And yeah, you should do your side hustle until it pays you more than your job. And I've had mentees that have come on, hated their job, doing what they want to do for their job. Yeah. They've left, and within 3 months they're making more. They're out earning what they were doing in their job, right? Yeah. And then the side hustle becomes the main hustle.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do understand that people don't make as much as they thought they was going to make from investing in all these different places. That's why people say, I'm going to invest in property. I'm like, cool, what's the ROI on that? 4%, 5%. I said, you might as well just, like, 5%? Like, what are you doing? Like, look at that as a number. How long is it going to take you to make your money back? 12 years? Right? So, like, people just don't understand sometimes. They're like, I want to get into property. I'm like, cool, what percentage are you actually going to make? And that's why sometimes you got to, like, really invest in yourself. Yeah. Honestly, when you invest in yourself and you are open, your mind and your eyes are open to different things, and not every course is going to be a 10-10. You got to go multiple courses, multiple mentors. And then when you see the vehicles that people are using, not literally physical vehicle, but the methodology behind how they're generating this revenue, servicing their customers, you're like, oh my God. And people have those light bulb moments when they come to our events and production all the time. They're like, oh, that's how it goes. Because you don't see it on Instagram.
It's hard to.
You see 30 seconds.
Yeah. You
60
can't see
seconds.
the real
What am I supposed to do?
Yeah.
And give you in 30, 60 seconds.
You can't give much. I mean, this podcast, even an hour and a half, I'm like, guys, I could have had
what can I give you?
3-hour conversation, 4-hour conversation.
So it's like, what can we give you in that time? But when you come to the actual mentoring, you pay to get in, and you pay for that knowledge. You're like, oh, I get it, and that's the light bulb moment we see all the time.
So I want to talk a little bit about mindset, because I think that's important, right? And you know, from your journey, you're definitely very resilient, right? And you definitely had a growth mindset, right? So, and another thing I liked in the book as well, you talked about a rich mindset, right? How does someone have a rich mindset, and why is it important for people to have this mindset? And it comes to not just even just money, we're talking about business, relationships, everything.
Absolutely.
About that.
Oh, I mean, with so many facets we can go down, but look, I personally believe, like, there's so many things that are abundant to us, and not only abundant but also accessible and achievable.
Yeah. And
whether you believe in the laws of attraction or not, or I definitely believe in those positive vibrations. And sometimes, and I'm, you know, I believe also. So sometimes some of the things that happen are either unexplainable or by those very beliefs, because it's like, how can I just want this to happen? And it almost, honestly, having that abundant mindset of I can do, achieve, be, or do anything that my mind can conceive. And it will happen. And I'm not saying manifest it and do nothing. Manifest it and put the work in, and you'll achieve it. But I definitely think we've always been taught to live in scarcity.
100%.
You know, scarcity, save for a rainy day, go to school, get a job. You know, we don't have to live like that. We can do whatever we want. I'm not saying don't do your due diligence, not saying don't put the work. You can do, achieve, be anything you want. I'm a living proof of that, but I'm nowhere near where I want to be.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where do you want to be?
Yeah, I'm nowhere near where I want to be.
Okay.
And I don't think I've reached my peak yet.
Wow.
Yeah.
What does the peak look like? I'm now very curious about it. I'm curious about it.
I don't think I've reached my peak.
Oh my God,
I think some of the things I've learned over the last 4 to 5 years alone is going to allow me to double and triple my income in the next 18 months alone.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I've spent a lot of money learning it, implementing it, testing it, seeing results. So now it's scaling. Do you know what? The dates just can't come fast enough because it's just already set up. Like I just want it to be the end of 2025 already.
Yeah.
So I can just see what it looks like. Like,
it's interesting you say that you also paid, because this is the thing, right? You talked about mentors, but you're actually also paying for mentors still.
100%. Because
right?
there's always someone who has... someone else can just mark that X, just hit that button there. Don't go around the houses trying to figure it out yourself. It takes too long. You haven't got enough time to learn it all yourself.
Yeah.
Stop wasting time. You haven't got enough time to learn it all yourself. To pay someone who knows how to do it.
Yeah.
Who has done it before. Who can give you insight. And I've spent tens of thousands of pounds on training over the years. I spend thousands of pounds on my staff going on training. One of my staff is on a 4-day training course as we speak to learn. And the only reason why I sent her on that course was so that she can see how their setup is. Because I went on that training. But she can learn stuff from it, but I wanted her to see the production. Because their production's 10-10. So I want her to know the level where we need to be for the production. To the untrained eye, you experiencing it with me, well, you wouldn't know any different. You'd be like, yeah, it's great. But I'm like, there's another level. There's another level. And so that's the only reason why I sent her on. So that's the trainings cost me $2,000. The hotels cost me £500. The travel, her not being in the office. So it's a $5,000 experience for me to send her on that training course.
But you think it will yield more than that, of course.
100%.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Huh. This is the thing, right? There has to, not that there has to be a return on investment, because a return on investment sometimes is not tangible like money, but sometimes it's tangible in skills that helps you generate money. So what about discipline? How important has discipline been for you on your journey as an entrepreneur?
Great question.
Yeah.
I'm very disciplined. And my friend said this to me randomly. We went to Mexico and I had a training session. digressing for a moment, and I had a training session. It's about discipline, and I left them in the villa, and I checked into a hotel because I couldn't go out that night. I didn't want to go out because I wouldn't be fresh for my mentees the next day. And he said something to me because I was working the next day, and I was just watching TV, but I had my laptop open. And he goes, "There's one thing I rate about you, B." He goes, "You're so disciplined." And I never really thought of it like that. I never thought of it that, oh, I'm so disciplined. You don't really qualify your own skills like that. And that was the first time I was like, oh, okay. Like my peers that I respect. So a lot of the people that I travel with, I do business with, right? Just coincidentally, mostly. We're friends, but I do business with them as well. So it's interesting that it's noticed by my peers about my discipline. And I'm committed. I'm the person that, listen, if I say it's done, it's done. If I'm in hospital, unless I'm incapacitated, it's done. Like, there's no way I'm letting you down. Even the other day, I injured myself playing football, and I was in the minor injuries. I had my laptop. I took my extension. I was talking to my business partner, and I was like, I took my extension cable, and I prepared for being there for 3 hours, just in case. It was luckily only an hour and a half. But the fact that I had my I was ready to work, and I had my one arm, and I was typing with my one hand. But like, I'm just committed. So I think you do need a lot of discipline. And sometimes the discipline comes from forms of motivation and clarity on your goals. And these all form discipline. So this week, I have not left my house until today. I have not left the office.
I've had days like that.
Yeah. So the whole week,
Yeah.
I basically was like, and this week's been hot. It's beautiful weather.
Yeah.
My phone, if I show you messages in my phone, we're here, we're at this rooftop, we're at this place, we're at this garden, we're having cigars, we're doing this, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, nah, I'm not coming. Just come for a quick one, come for a drink, there's this person I want you to meet, blah, blah, blah. I said, no, I'm not coming. I said, I'm focused this week. There's nothing breaking it this week. I'm on my bag, I'm on my graft, I'm on my grind. And I didn't leave the house all week. I left the house today because it was daddy day, and the missus was working. So I'm like, cool, I'm going to just take him out, whatever. And I took him to work, actually, you know. And then I'm here. So today's my only day I've left the house.
Mad.
Yeah.
So you feel like having that goal is what helps somebody become disciplined, or at least, when I say, obviously you can, it's really down to your mental strength, but
I think
helps you.
sacrifices.
Yeah.
Let's look.
Yeah.
I can live life on my terms, and I want to live life on my terms.
Okay.
What's a few small sacrifices?
Yeah.
And you know what? Let's talk about the festivals. Let's talk about all these things. Listen, how you got that? How you have the ability to research the festival, go to the festival, get an outfit for the festival, but you haven't got. Listen, let me get at the people here. I don't mind being cancelled. It's okay. But look, how can you have a holiday plan, festival plan, but you haven't got a personal development plan? Make it make sense. Look at the level of research you put into a holiday. You know the local bars, the restaurants, how many restaurants are inside there, the airport it goes to, what planes fly there. The detail is insane. But you've got no personal development plan. You don't know how you're going to get 1% better, 10% better. What? Outrageous. So anyway, so that's my feelings on it. Like, we should just have, it's accessible and do them all. Listen, I like to travel. I travel a fair few times every single year. So,
But have a balance, right? It's about
I'm just
being
saying
balanced,
you can do
right?
both, and you can do both well.
Yeah.
You know, and it's insane the amount of my people that I see in festivals. 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 people. What?
Yeah.
Let me put on a personal development session. 5,000. You're mad.
If you get 5,000 people, that's crazy.
Impossible.
Yeah.
We couldn't fill a stadium. That's the truth. But we'll fill a park.
When you think about
easy.
it, yeah, easy.
That's just the reality of it.
Yeah.
Why is that?
Boy. Lack of focus, lack of goals. Well, maybe not lack of goals. People have goals, but it's just that discipline. but they're just not disciplined enough.
And the tickets are not cheap for the festival.
No,
you know?
they get more expensive these days. Actually,
They are. I'm
Mad
like, yo,
expensive. Yeah.
£70,
Yeah,
£50, £100
even 50 is cheap nowadays. For being real,
for
like
the festival.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
cool. I can see you're committed.
Mm-hmm.
What does the bank account say though? What is your anyway? Let me not. I don't want to trigger nobody.
That's crazy. So okay, let's talk a little bit about network, right? Because you have alluded to network, throughout this conversation. So how has your network helped you on your wealth building and entrepreneurship journey?
Yeah, it's been pivotal. If you look at it this way, one of the things when I'm goal setting, one of the pieces of the goal setting that I talk about is who do you need to know to hit the goal?
Yeah.
And if you have that understanding, okay, I need to this person, you can always hit the goal faster, first of all. But for me, it's been incredible. I'm naturally I love speaking to people. I love people. I'm a people's person. I love engaging with people. I love talking to people. So I naturally network, and I have quite a systemized process of follow up and engaging, and I genuinely want to see people win, right? And as a result of my network, doors have been open, things are quicker, things are faster, experiences are different. You can make more money, you can have better. And networking is not just about making money. It's also about saving money, right? Because you're paying the full fare for that flight and I'm not, right?
Yeah, I need to get them discounts, man.
So it's just like, it could be anything.
Yeah.
Right? That we all indulge in. You know the person that's responsible for pushing that button in that organization that we all consume. And that's it. So you can make money from networking, you can save money from networking, and it can save you time. That's the one commodity that is finite that we all cannot buy more of, right? It's time. So rather than me going and doing all this, okay, cool. Listen, do you know the person that can get me into here? Oh yeah, that's my friend.
Mad.
Network is vital.
Yeah.
It just saves you so much pain. And what people say, oh, it's difficult to raise capital for a business. If I pull out my phone book and I phone people in my network because they know, like, and trust me, and I've got a proven track record, but also I know them, I've done business with them before, I can raise capital like that. Network.
Yeah.
For a project or an opportunity or whatever comes in. And then now they've got an opportunity. They call me. Byron, there's an opportunity. You can make X amount.
Man.
Cool. These things don't get advertised on Instagram. They don't get you're not going to get the same opportunity. It's not a fair fight. As we know in life, it's not equal. So it's just not the same. We don't get the same opportunities.
So how do people go about building a network? There's going to be the watchers and listeners that want to take action. How do they do that?
Yeah, do you know what? I always say, go to new environments, new places, new spaces. There are networking events. We have one called the Rich Forever Network. You can network every single month online and in person, right? Now, even if it's not that, go and find spaces where there are the people that you want to connect with and communicate with. Go to networking events, okay? And even if you have nothing to offer, you're in your 9 to 5 and you haven't got a side hustle, ask every single person in that room, what is it that you need in your business, in your life, to be better, faster, smarter, whatever it may be? What is it you need to be better or achieve more? And they'll say, actually, I need to be connected with this person or that person. And then you go and speak to somebody else and you ask them the same question. And then you just provide the value and you connect the dots. Okay. And just be a connector. You can live off being a connector.
Mad.
You'll help someone start their business. You'll help them introduce to an accountant. You'll help them introduce to this person, whatever. And they'll help you as a result. And they'll pay your commission as a result. Why would they not? If I can find you services that you need, let's use this podcast studio as an example. It's more efficient, it's better quality cameras, whatever, and it's the same cost, whatever. And that person wants your business. And I say to them, and you're here for 3 years, whatever it may be, and you've been here 3 years, and there you're going to be there. So the value, the order value to them is worth thousands of pounds. They're going to pay me, they'll give me a little £500 for the first use.
Yeah, that's true.
Of course they would, wouldn't they?
Yeah, mad.
Why would they not?
Yeah.
It's
very
that
true.
simple. It's exchange of value.
Yeah, very true. I love that. And this is why I wanted to definitely talk to you about network. I couldn't end this conversation without talking to you about marriage. We have to.
Yes, go for
we
it.
definitely have to talk about that, right? Because so what would you say in terms of how has a successful marriage helped you both personally and professionally?
Yeah. So, listen, my wife is incredible. She's an entrepreneur as well. We've been married, I'm not getting in trouble, 7 years. Been together a long time. And she definitely is part of my foundation for success, for sure, without a shadow of a doubt. And I do also recognize in my groups, my circles, my networks, some of the most successful men have also solid foundations at home, because it means you're out less. Maybe it's because you're out less. You don't have to be going chasing and dating and looking for opportunities or whatever that may be, right?
Okay, yeah.
So you have that foundation at home, and you have that peace of mind, and also you have that purpose, that sense of purpose as well. So for me, having a supporting, inspiring to me as well, partner, who has to listen to all of my crazy ideas, has been pivotal to my success. And look, I was successful to some degree before I met her, but it's definitely accelerated since I met her, for sure. And it just gives you that stability that I feel some of us need as men. I can only speak from my point of view, but we need sometimes that stability to then go and do other things. As I say, laying the foundations. So yes, hopefully that answers the question.
Yeah, no, it does. So obviously, I've been married for over 2 years, and
Yeah.
the plan is I want to be married forever, right?
Yeah.
So my question to you, this is probably not just going to help me, but
Yeah.
other people, right? What's the secret to a successful marriage? Because what I find quite unique is that you're both grinding, you're both empire building, and then you have a great relationship as well.
Yeah.
I guess what's the secret to that?
I wouldn't say secret, because I don't teach it. And when I say I don't teach it, I like to say the things that I normally teach, I see success with others doing it.
Okay.
So then that's why I say all these things, because I see everybody's doing it, everybody's achieving success.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't say it's secret, I'll say it's what's worked well for me. So what's worked well for me, and if I look at other people in my network who are happy in their relationships, is first of all, having a healthy balance. First of all, let's talk about this. As men, right, this is what we do. We go out with the boys. We stay out till 3 a.m. We do that once a week, but we don't share the same experiences with our partners. So first of all, that's a problem, because your partner's supposed to be your best friend or one of your best friends. So how can you have the experiences that you do with the boys, but you don't do with the missus? Yeah. So you go on holiday, you go in Napa, you go in Ibiza, you're going Dubai. You do all these experiences you don't do with the missus. Like, strategically, but also you should also be sharing those experiences with your partner. So if you're going out and to Novikov, you should be doing the same thing with your partner, because obviously as well, just from a objective point of view, you're doing all these things with all your other friends, but you don't want to share that time with me, right? So for me, one of the things I always say is I want to do the incredible experiences that I also have with my friends, with my partner. I want to travel the world with her. I want to do things with my friends as well, have experiences that we can both do. The second thing is I find so important is having that separation of I have experiences, you have experiences. She's traveling next week to Amalfi Coast, right? I got the baby for a week. Wish me luck. Right? So newborn, right? So she's going to the, I'm like, when she said, oh, my friends are going, what do you think I should do? I said, book that. Because if it was me, I'm booking it, right? Go. I'll figure it out, right? Have those experiences. Go and enjoy your life with your friends. Now we've got something to talk about for a week. Now you've got new experiences in life. You might enjoy it so much you take me, right? So having that separation, I think, is really, really important. Someone also shares your vision or your dreams, or willing to support you unquestionably, is important for me. I'm not saying blind faith. She sometimes says, "B, what do you think? Do you think?" And I'm like, "Yeah, cool." And I have to explain it or show. Or sometimes as a man, go away and think about it, and then come back like, "Okay, I get it. Yeah, maybe we should do it in a slightly different way." But being able to, and that leads to the communication, like being able to communicate about everything and anything, no matter how big or how small, I think it's important. I know we don't always communicate with everything to our partners, and I know as men we think sometimes we don't communicate because they can't help solve the problem. That's the theme that I find, right? I didn't tell you because like there's no point in telling you because you can't help me.
Yeah.
You can't help me with my problem, and I recognize that some men are like that, and I also am like that with some things. I'm like, there's no point in having this. Like, this is a conversation I have with some of my other business partners, right? So I appreciate that, but sometimes just being able to articulate, this is my problem right now. I'm dealing with it with my business. Like sometimes that communication piece is important. So yeah, that comes, and everybody says it, but it's different for different people, you know. And just enjoying company, like time with each other. You know, just doing things you like to do together. Yeah, it's so important.
Yeah, love that. Love that answer. Yeah, that look that. I love the answer.
Do you do the same thing you do with the boys, with the missus?
Yeah, I love traveling. I love traveling with her. Yeah, all the time. Right? I mean, I think I even noticed that. I even said to her, actually, this year we've had to do a lot of things for other people. And like we need to do things for ourselves. Yeah. That's what you can get really into that because people are getting married, people are having stags or hen do's, and then you're like, right, like, what are we doing together? Where's our summer holiday kind of thing? So yeah, it's a little bit of that vibe at times. So you have two other bestsellers here, right? We got Self-Made and we got the Business Survival Kit, right? Who are those two books for, and what do you want people to take out from those books?
Yeah, let's go through the book. So the first book was called Self-Made, A Definitive Guide to Business Startup Success. First book. So that's what I would call your pocket mentor. Everything you need to know about starting, growing, scaling, exiting your business is in that book. Get it. We published it with Hachette, second largest publisher in the world. Incredible book. Sold tens of thousands of units. Second book was the Business Survival Kit. We wrote that during the pandemic. Now the Business Survival Kit, it's kind of like, it talks about the things that you don't talk about in business. The stress, the anxiety, the imposter syndrome, when things go wrong, managing stakeholder relationships, managing relationships in business. That is a challenge because not all relationships have both people as entrepreneurs. There's one, and sometimes the other side doesn't get it, and sometimes the other side doesn't know how to communicate it. So that's what that book's all about: goal setting, clarity. So that is the Business Survival Kit, surviving and thriving in business. Then the third and final book is Rich Forever. What they didn't teach you about money and finance in school, as it says on the tin. They don't teach you about money and finance in school, about the things that matter, the things that will impact you. So that is what that book is about. And that was with, so the second book was with Penguin. And the second book is John Murray Learn. So it's part of the second largest publisher in the world, Hachette. So all three books. One was a Sunday Times bestseller. Maybe just short of maybe 10,000 in the first couple of weeks. That was a bestseller, Sunday Times bestseller. That's
amazing. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
That's a big achievement. Yeah.
Thank you. And then so they're the books. And then we've got Pitch It Rich, which is our entrepreneur game.
Oh yeah.
It's a pitching game.
Yeah, this is cool.
Yeah, it's a pitching game. Yeah. Go and check it out. Do you know what? It was like the idea started with, it's like whenever you go to friends' houses, it's always an alcohol related drinking game. And I respect those and I like those. Cool, it's fine. But let's just switch it up a little bit sometimes?
Yeah, let's change up the Monopoly.
Let's change it a little bit.
Yeah, we had doing Monopoly for 20, 30 years.
Come on, let's change it. So that's what that game's about. So yeah, it's available in the market. So yes. Amazing.
Yeah, I'll put all the links in the description as well of this episode. So that's great. So something that you're very passionate about, and you kind of alluded to it at the beginning. You're helping Bianca in terms of speaking career. Yes. But you also help other people as well. Can you talk a little bit about that program?
Sure. So we have a program we launched called the Speakers Academy last year. And what we wanted to do was we recognize that there's so many people that have stories, journeys, trials to tribulation, trials to success, tribulation to success. And they were speaking on stages for free or not speaking at all. So, and some of these massive organizations respectfully are taking liberties because they're using your skill, your knowledge, your voice, your IP for you to tell this story to their organization, to their audience for free. Now, let me just add this bit. Sometimes there is a time to speak for free. There is a purpose. If you don't understand that purpose, you need to speak to me or the reason why exactly. And some people say, oh, I need to practice. That is not where we practice on stage. That is not what being on stage is for, to practice. Okay. There are other reasons. Now, we had this vision that we wanted to help 500 people become paid professional speakers. And we launched our Speakers Academy, and we had 30 odd people come through that, and we taught them. So there's two sides. There's Bianca as a paid professional speaker who speaks around the world on personal branding, motivation, inspiration. I speak on stages, but my main bag is marketing, branding, sales, right? So the two of us together were able to package, because I negotiate all her deals, Facebook, Accenture, PwC, EY, all of these brands I negotiate the deals for anyway. So how do I do that? Okay, well, I have this. How do you go and speak on stage? So we created this program. It's a 2-day program. We tried to do it in one day. Couldn't do it in one day. So it's a 2-day program. And we teach you everything from crafting your speech to be able to sell from the stage, to be able to convince an audience and take them through a roller coaster journey to make a great speech, and for some people it's just to get out of their comfort zone because they want to be more present on social media. So they're like, okay, cool, I need to get out of my comfort zone to be more confident. So we created the program, and it's been our most popular program to date.
Wow.
Out of all the things we've done in personal development, it's insane. So we've now just been adding dates, and we've had people come in who've never spoken on stage before to being paid £10,000 for 45 minutes of their time.
That's crazy.
And on the lower spectrum, we've had people doing £3,000 whilst on holiday. So let that sink in.
That's crazy. Yeah.
Open their laptop, deliver that session digitally. Now 75% of delivering online webinars, seminars, keynote speeches, workshops has gone up 75% since the pandemic.
Wow. Okay.
Right.
So way more virtual speaking opportunities. Wow.
And if I can get you a virtual deal, I'll do it all day long, even if I've got to charge a little bit less. Because I'd much rather you stay at home, dressed above up, in the comfort of your home. Yeah. Once you've got your light, once you've got your audio sorted, you deliver that session and it's done. And it just saves the commuting, and that's my ideals for my clients. There is a different feeling in the room. There is a different retention rate in the room. We appreciate that. But I just love to be able to you can just be digital nomad, work from anywhere in the world. Yes, of course, you're going to have to still deliver in person. Some clients want you to deliver in person, and that's fine. So for those people who want to travel the world on someone else's credit card, then that's fine. And it's not 419 we're talking about here. We're talking about the client will pay you to come and travel the world and be able to deliver that workshop and that training and that information that's in your brain, in your heart, to motivate, inspire, or teach. So yeah, I'm loving that journey. It's incredible. We're seeing real lives change as a result of this training. And 2025, it'll be our flagship program, and I think we'll probably hit our number by the end of 2025.
Wow.
So it'll be done. Yeah.
Wow.
And then we've been able to put 500 professional paid speakers in the market, and that's where I came from today, actually. So our speakers had a professional photo shoot. So I took the boy, as I said, it was a semi-work day. So we went, took my little boy, we went to just pop in and have a look, and we just went to just see what was happening. So the team organized it all, got a photographer, we hire a beautiful mansion, and you take professional lifestyle images and professional headshot images, blah, blah, blah. So that's what I went to today. That was the part of my day. So yeah, the Speakers Academy, the Self-Made Speakers Academy is the place to be, not just for entrepreneurs, but also 9-to-5ers. Okay, who have incredible knowledge, who some of them are already speaking on stages. If you are a professional, if you're at the top of your game, that is for you.
Yeah. So how can, if people are interested in, how can they sign up and
DM me
Okay.
the word speaker, and I'll send you the link to the website.
Okay.
Or alternatively, you know what? Now I don't even like sending people the link to the website. Imagine I paid £5,000 for this beautifully created and crafted landing page, but you know what? I'll rather just have a conversation. It might not be me you speak to, it might be somebody in my team, but we'll just have a conversation and see if you're the right fit and if there can be value added. And if you're a right fit, fantastic. If not, then we can all just sail into the wind. Yeah.
Dr. Byron.
Yes.
I'm gonna say Dr. Byron's been
Yes,
it's been
thank you so much.
fantastic speaking to you. I've learned so much, and your journey is so inspiring. Thanks so much for taking time. I know we've gone over, but just for sharing your wisdom, your insights in terms of what you're doing in business, in terms of your relationships, in terms of your network. I think it's very valuable. Where can people find you if they obviously want to connect with you?
And thanks for having me. People can find me on Instagram at Mr. B Self-Made, on LinkedIn, Facebook, everywhere else. Just type in Byron Cole into Google and you'll find me. Instagram is my main platform with LinkedIn. They're the platforms that I'm active on. We're active everywhere, but they're the ones that I'll actually physically see. Otherwise, it will be someone in my team. But Instagram at Mr. B Self-Made, or just Byron Cole on LinkedIn. And
Amazing.
Connect. Start here.
Yeah, I'm gonna put the
shoot me a
link
DM.
in the description as well.
Let's start making some changes.
Exactly. This is what I always say to people: network. Hit up Byron. Let's see who's gonna do it.
Let's see.
Somebody in the comments from one of my guests. Oh, I wish they were a mentor. I was like, reach out to them.
DM.
Like just
Send
DM
them a
them
DM.
or email or whatever, right? Like, the world's our oyster, and I really believe it. And your story shows that it is, the world is your oyster. So yeah, really appreciate you taking the time. Do you have any final words for the watchers and listeners?
Final words. Look, I think we can live in a world where we can have it all. And in the time that we're living in now, we can and should have it all. And I just think we should just live an abundant, happy, healthy, responsible life, and do that with the people that you love and care about. That's it.
Thank you so much, Dr. Byron.
Thanks for having me.
Appreciate you. Thank you so much for tuning into the episode podcast. See you next week's episode.